Paris Jackson just did something big. She's standing up for her father, Michael Jackson, and taking the people who control his billion-dollar estate to court. She believes something isn't right, and now she's speaking out. According to Paris, large payments, more than $500,000, were given to lawyers without any clear explanation. No time records, no proper approval, and no one from the family was told why. To her, it feels like money is being handed out carelessly, and she's not okay with that. This isn't just about money. For Paris, it's about protecting her father's legacy, making sure his name, his work, and his empire are being handled with respect and honesty. What she's exposing could change how Michael Jackson's estate is managed forever, and it's starting a conversation that the world can't ignore. Let's take a closer look at what really happened. Back in 2018, Michael Jackson's estate paid out $625,000 to 3 law firms. That's over $500,000. But here's the catch. There's no clear explanation for what that money was actually for. Paris says the work those lawyers supposedly did wasn't properly recorded. There were no time logs, no detailed billing statements, nothing showing what they worked on or for how long. Just big checks, sent out without much explanation. Paris is calling these premium payments. Basically, that's a fancy way of saying bonuses, extra money on top of regular pay. She believes these payments were completely unnecessary and maybe even unfair. In her court filing, she didn't hold back. She called them lavish gratuities, like expensive gifts handed out without reason. And she says 2 of the law firms were fully paid before the court even approved it. That's a big red flag. Normally, payments like this need court approval. At most, only a portion can be paid up front, and the rest has to wait for the judge's okay. But that didn't happen. Now Paris is speaking up, loud and clear. She wants to know why these payments were made, why they weren't properly documented, and why the rules were ignored. And she's not just pointing fingers at the lawyers. She's also questioning the people running the estate, John Branca and John McClane. These are the co-executors who've managed Michael Jackson's financial empire since he passed away in 2009. At first, Branca and McClane were seen as the guys who saved the estate. When Michael died, his finances were a mess. He had over $500 million in debt, lawsuits, loans, unfinished deals. Everything was falling apart. But under their leadership, things changed. They helped release new albums, approved documentaries, sold merchandise, and most famously, they launched MJ, the musical on Broadway.
The first national touring company of MJ, the musical, y'all.
One of their biggest moves was selling part of Michael's music catalog to Sony in a deal worth $600 million. Thanks to these deals, the estate went from being in debt to being worth over $2 billion. So why is Paris pushing back? Simple. She thinks success doesn't excuse sloppy decisions. She believes even if the estate made money, it doesn't mean they should hand out cash without records. To her, it's about doing things the right way, not just the profitable way. In her legal objection, she made it clear. She no longer feels confident that Branca and McClane are doing their jobs responsibly. She said they didn't keep proper oversight of the lawyers, that they allowed full payments to go out without approvals, that they treated the estate's money like it was their own. She's asking the court to step in, review these payments, and set a clear system moving forward. Now, Branca and McClane didn't stay quiet. They fired back in their own court filing. They said the payments were not unusual at all. In fact, they claim bonuses like this are very common in the entertainment world, especially when big deals are involved. They brought up the 2018 EMI deal again, where Michael's $50,000 investment turned into nearly $300 million. They say the lawyers helped make that deal happen, and the bonuses were a fair reward for that. They also mentioned that courts had approved similar payments in the past, and they accused Paris of waiting too long to file her complaint. According to them, she knew about the payments more than a year ago. They called her objection untimely and suggested the court should dismiss it. But this isn't the first time a Jackson family member has spoken up. Michael's mother, Katherine Jackson, also objected to the Sony deal in 2022. She believed Michael wouldn't have wanted his catalog sold, and she tried to stop the sale in court. But the court ruled against her. The judge said that Michael's will gave full authority to Branca and McClane to buy or sell estate assets as they saw fit. Now it's Paris's turn to fight, and she's not backing down. She's asking for a timeline. She wants a clear schedule that shows when payments will be reviewed, when reports will be shared, and how everything will be tracked. In short, she wants accountability, she wants structure, she wants transparency, and she has every reason to care. Michael's estate isn't just big, it's one of the most valuable in music history, and under his will, 40% of the estate goes to his kids, Prince, Paris, and Biggie. Another 40% goes to Katherine, and the remaining 20% is supposed to go to children's charities. When Katherine passes away, her share goes to the kids as well. That means eventually the 3 Jackson children will own 80% of everything. If the estate is worth $2.5 billion, We're talking about each child potentially inheriting over $600 million. That's why Paris is stepping in now. She doesn't want bad decisions today to damage her family's future tomorrow. She's standing up, not just for herself, but for her brothers and for her father's legacy. And let's be honest, when it comes to Michael Jackson, his legacy is everything. He's not just a celebrity, he's a global icon, a once-in-a-lifetime artist. And his name still earns money every single year from streaming, merchandise, licensing deals, and more. MJ Musical alone has made millions. Every move the estate makes affects how that legacy is remembered and who benefits from it. The estate's lawyer, Jonathan Steinsapper, says everything was done with smart business judgment. He insists that the payments were legal, fair, and in line with what the court has allowed for over a decade. But Paris isn't buying it, not without proof, not without oversight. The court hearing is scheduled for July 16th. That's when everything goes in front of a judge. Paris will explain why she thinks the estate is being mismanaged. Branca and McLean will argue that they've done everything right. And then, we wait. Will the court agree with Paris and force more control over the estate? Or will they side with the executors and let business continue as usual? No matter the outcome, this case opens up a much bigger question. Who should control Michael Jackson's legacy? The lawyers? The executors? The family? Right now, Paris is trying to take back some of that control. She wants the estate to serve the family, not just enrich the people running it. She wants her father's money to be managed with care, and she wants everything done out in the open, not behind closed doors. Some fans think she's absolutely right. They admire her for stepping up and protecting her father's name. Others believe she might be creating drama where there isn't any. But one thing is clear, Paris isn't doing this for attention. She's doing it because she believes something is off, and she's willing to fight to fix it.
And they're basically measuring my love for my own father based off of what I post on Instagram.
This isn't about fame. This isn't about headlines. This is about family. It's about trust. It's about doing what's right, even if it's messy. And that's what makes this so powerful. Paris could have stayed quiet. She could have avoided the legal drama. But instead, she chose to speak up. And now the whole world is listening. She's not a little girl anymore. She's not just Michael Jackson's daughter. She's a grown woman. She's a fighter. And she's not afraid to go up against the system, even if that system helped build her family's fortune. Because sometimes, protecting a legacy means asking the hard questions. And Paris Jackson is doing exactly that.